Hey guys, it's your friends Lauren and Maddie, and we're back. This is our brand new podcast. We're so excited. We actually recorded this episode once before, but it was a while ago. I think I posted about it at the time on our Instagram, which is just at Call Your Friends Podcast now, and everyone was super excited. But then we had a little delay. Do you want to explain what happened, Lauren?
I think basically what happened is I had like 17 university applications to get in the span of a few weeks. And so I was too busy to edit our podcast episode. And then finally, when I came home and I was finished with my university applications, we found out that Darian took the memory card back to LA. So basically, we don't have any of the footage, or at least I don't, in Toronto. And it's back with Maddie in LA. So it would have taken how many hours to send it to me?
She says 10, but she's probably being a little bit dramatic. But we also wanted to make sure that our branding was all set up. We had a new album, or what is it called? I guess podcast artwork, podcast cover in place before we officially launched. Because Lauren and I did try to create one on Canva, but it definitely wasn't like graphic design quality, if you know what I mean.
It was not cute.
We thought that waiting would probably be the best for everyone. I mean, our situation right now is not ideal. We have a lot of technology going on. We have the Zoom on our computers. We have the camera set up. We have the microphones. We have the AirPods. But it's going to work, and I think this is kind of how it's going to go from now on, probably until you're back in LA, which you think will be in March?
Yeah, I think I'm coming back for my school's March break, which is like mid-March. But until then, I guess we're going to be recording separately. So when we are together, it'll be like a nice surprise.
Yes. But for now, we will be over Zoom. But that's okay. I feel like we still have a great, experience recording. We have a lot of practice because of the pandemic. Luckily, I guess that's one thing that was good is everyone figured out how to do everything remotely. So we are pros at this, and I think it'll be great going forward. We're just super happy to be back and recording because it's been a while, and I feel like people always say like don't stop doing something because then you get out of practice and out of your routine, and it's been a while and we didn't really realize how much time had passed since our last episode.
I know, it feels like we're recording our first ever episode again because of how long it's been. Like I forget how to do this, you know?
Totally. But we want to just give you guys a little rundown of what this podcast is going to be. Kind of explain why we made a change in the first place and what you can expect for future episodes, because this is just a little intro episode. I actually have a pop-up at my store in LA soon, so I have to run, but we want to just jump on the podcast this week and get back in the groove. So let's run down first. Do you want to say like why we changed the name and why we like had that long break?
Yeah. So I feel like we wanted to change things for a little while. Like when we started the podcast a few years ago, we were very different than we are now. And I feel like we've grown up a lot and matured a lot. And so the style of content that we were making, as well as our name and even like our podcast cover was all very young. So basically, when we were dropped from our podcast agency, podcast label, what do you call that? Network. We were like, now's a good time to make a change. And so that's kind of why it happened when it did, but I think it was overdue.
Totally, I agree. Yeah, we are now doing the podcast ourselves, which I don't think will actually be that different because we kind of we didn't edit the actual episodes, but we did a lot of the like behind the scenes stuff anyways. So it'll be good to have that like as one of our jobs at the moment, and we'll see how it evolves, but it also gives us a lot of freedom to do what we want in terms of changing things. So like Lauren just said, we are changing the name, we can change the content, whatever you guys want. And of course, I guess another really big thing is the video aspect of the podcast, which as you can see, we are recording video and it's going to be up on YouTube. So that's super exciting. And yeah, we're very open to hearing feedback about what you guys, our listeners, want to hear, what you want us to talk about, because we know that everyone has also grown up at the same time. So I would assume that everyone's, priorities have changed, or like the content that they want to hear has changed. And we are very open to receiving feedback. So let us know. But in terms of the style of the podcast, we're thinking that we are going to do a little bit more current event stuff. And by current events, I think we mostly mean like pop culture current events. And that'll be, I guess, the beginning of the podcast. We're going to run down some news stories. And we can talk about like more serious news as well, because obviously things do come up. But I think we want to have a pop culture focus. And that is because I personally love like BFFs. I think it's so interesting. That's the podcast with Dave Portnoy and Josh Richards. And that's where I get all my TikTok and like social media pop culture news. And I feel like it's actually really good to be informed about those things.
That's so funny. I didn't even realize Josh Richards had a podcast, but I think it's a good segment to have on our show because a lot of podcasts do a little discussion of what's going on in the world and especially the social media world. And I think it makes what we're talking about that much more relevant and fun, hopefully, for you guys to listen to and watch.
Totally.
And maybe even learn a bit about what's going on in the social media world. So I'm excited.
Me too. Yeah, and I think those things actually do come up in conversation, like in real life. So I think it's really good to be knowledgeable and like keep up with what's going on. It keeps you young, you know,
exactly.
When you're 25 and aging out of a social media world. It does keep you young and informed. So I think that will be super fun. And then another element of the podcast is also the friends element. So I saw a lot of people saying, are you guys going to bring your friends on? And the answer is yes.
Yeah, basically the idea behind Call Your Friends, or what we want it to be, is less guest focused than it used to be. So when I say guests, I mean the guests that we didn't really know. We used to have a lot of professionals come on the show, and that was great because we were able to learn a lot from them. But we also really, really like having our friends on the podcast, and some of our best episodes were the ones that we recorded with our friends. So we're very excited for the podcast to be mostly me, Maddie, and our close friends, because I think those are very fun for everyone to listen to and so fun for us to record.
Yeah, I think we kind of felt like we didn't know enough about certain topics to answer, or I guess like to ask good questions and participate in the conversation. And I know you said that a few times, or like you brought that up on a couple episodes where you were like, I'm learning about these things for the first time when we have the guest on, because obviously you're in school. It's not your full-time job to be like researching guests before they come on. And I know that like really big podcasters do that, or they have a team of people that provides them with like pages and pages of research, and that's great, but that wasn't really the case for us. So we want to make it more like a little more casual, more like stream of consciousness, stream of thought type of a show, which is what we like listening to, I think. Like Emma Chamberlain's podcast is a great example of someone who does that really well, and less like information based. Although I'm sure there'll still be times where our friends are able to, you know, provide their expertise on certain topics, but we probably won't have as many guests that we don't know or haven't met before, just because it also has like a kind of a different dynamic, as I'm sure our listeners can tell. The flow of the episode's different. People are less comfortable. We aren't totally informed on the topic for the most part. So I think that this way we can really stick to what we know and what we're good at. And there's a space for everyone in the podcast world. So there's people that, you know, thrive in that sort of environment and they do really well with the podcast that's information-based. And that's probably just not us. So let's stick to what we know is kind of what we are thinking. And we are super excited to bring our friends on. And I think it will also allow our listeners to really get to know us better, which is a goal that we had the whole time. But when you're talking to people that you don't know very well,
over
you don't
Zoom
have that sort of totally, yeah, it's over Zoom, a little bit less personal. It's kind of hard to really bring your personality into it, especially if you're like we're not like super loud, crazy in your face anyways, so which is fine. It's just a different sort of podcast. So they're going to be more casual, more personal. We're hoping that you guys can get to know our personalities better. And yeah, like we've all grown up. Our listeners have grown up. You've grown up. I feel like we can just be more just like casual. And maybe we could make less cuts. Like, let's stop trying to pretend that the episodes are perfect. There's definitely a lot of moments where we make mistakes, and we were trying before to make it seem like very professional. But, you know, things have changed a little bit. It's just the two of us. Just the two of us doing this podcast. and it's for fun. So we'll make it, more realistic and more reflective of how it really goes and who we actually are.
And I think especially since what we post on social media, other social media platforms, I guess, so like Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, whatever, it's like I would say that a lot of people share many, many details of their life, but we are a little bit more private about what we post on the internet. So I like having a place like the podcast where we can kind of just ramble on for an hour, half an hour, however long it takes us, and just update you guys on what we've been up to and what's going on in our lives, so you feel like you still know us really well, even though we might not post that stuff on other social media.
Totally. And we can kind of just use it as a place where we can talk about what we're thinking about that week. Yeah, like even you just saying that made me think about like, oh, it'd be so cool to talk about social media and why, like how it's evolved where people are sharing every single detail about their life on TikTok and, like the pressure, I guess, of being someone who's supposed to share even if you're a private person. Like I think that's a really interesting conversation. So things like that just come up in our day-to-day I think would be really fun to share and hopefully interesting for our listeners. So before we end off this short episode, I wanted to just quickly talk about what's been going on for the last 4 months. Has it been 4 months? September, October? Yeah. 4 months.
Probably going on 5.
I think the last episode of the Sister Diary that was posted was September 28th or something. So is that 5 months? Yeah, 5 months.
Yeah, almost.
Wow, that's crazy. So it's been a while, and I feel like whenever people ask, oh, what have you been up to? Like, oh, let's catch up. When your friends say that? I'm also I don't really know because I don't have much to report, but I'm sure things have happened.
Yeah, I know. I feel like nothing super thrilling has gone on in my life since September, but I'm sure there's a lot that our listeners don't know because it's been so long. But
yeah, what have you been up to?
I don't know now. I'm trying to think. Well, I was at school for a very long time until basically December, and then I was in LA for most of winter break. My school was supposed to go back. It didn't for a few weeks, so I stayed in LA for quite a while. We were there for New Year's. I hung out with Ruby and Nadia a bit, which was really nice. Other than that...
Went to Lake Tahoe.
Oh, yeah, we went to Lake Tahoe. I fully forgot about that. We were there for a few days working on a very fun brand partnership that will be coming out very, very soon. So when you see those pictures, you'll know exactly what we're talking about. But we were there for a few days and then back to LA. Then I started grinding my university applications. I finished 17 applications in a few days. And then I came back to Toronto. Now I'm back in boarding at my school and back on the school grind.
Literally, I feel like I never hear from you. And you don't post anymore because you're just doing school.
No, literally my friends and I talk about this. It's our whole life is school now because already the school that I go to, your whole life basically is school because that's just the way it is. You're so involved in the school, which is great, but of course it makes it so you don't have time for much else. But now living at school, I feel like I am surrounded by school all the time. It's the only thing I ever think of, and of course, it's hard to make content when I'm I don't think you guys want to see me doing my schoolwork for the 100th day this year,
I know. Would you ever want to be a school influencer? Probably not at your high school, but more so at college. I don't know if that would be something that's interesting because I personally don't watch those videos, but I know that there's an audience for it.
Yeah, I feel like Darian said she watches them. She said she watches all of the acceptance and rejection college videos, but there's definitely a whole niche that's college, day in the lives, all of that kind of stuff, which I think is really fun. And if people want to watch them, I would definitely make them next year. I think it's hard in high school because obviously it's your friends are watching them, which is kind of weird. And also, I don't know how much I can share about my school without the actual school getting mad.
Right.
I couldn't record in any classes or any clubs or extracurriculars, anything like that. So then I don't really know how much that leaves me with.
Yeah, that's true. It's kind of a private environment, I guess. They don't want, even when you were like applying to the school, they were saying all that stuff. Like, you can't post, you can't talk about the school. I guess there's just like the opportunity for negative things to come out about it if you're talking about it online.
Right.
So I guess that's tricky. But in college, nobody cares. So
yeah, you can say whatever you want. You can
Yeah,
post whatever
sure.
you want about the school. Like, I don't know. Obviously, I would never post anything bad anyway. But like, you can post about what
Yeah.
you're doing in your classes and stuff, and the school doesn't care because I don't know. You're allowed to, which will be nice.
There's just like a lot of people. So
Yeah.
they can't.
They're not
keep
watching
track
it.
of every single
Exactly.
student. Yeah, that would be really interesting. I think it will be a different environment, like a totally different environment for you.
Definitely.
So I'm interested to see what happens and where you end up. Do you
Yeah.
have any acceptances yet?
I got accepted to Huron at Western, which is like, Maddie went to Western, but basically they have two campuses. So they have their main campus and then their Huron campus, which is much smaller. So I got accepted to Huron, and then I'm waiting to hear back from main campus, but I'll find out soon. And then I won't hear from any of my other schools until like March or April, so that will be an exciting podcast. And I'm thinking I might even make one of those college acceptance videos if I get accepted
you
anywhere.
You should. That would be very exciting. We have a fun trip planned for March. Do you know about that?
Oh, yes. Are we going to tell them where we're going?
Maybe we can have you guys guess.
Ooh.
That would be fun.
Watch Darian and John say something about it, though. Or Mom on her Instagram
probably
stories. Mom will definitely post something on her story.
Okay, well, if it hasn't been shared, then leave a comment on our Instagram post that is talking about this episode and guess where you think we're going. It's somewhere
Yeah.
warm. We have to give a few clues.
Okay, somewhere warm.
warm.
Can we say that it's in the U.S.?
Yeah, it's in the U.S. Because I'm still waiting for my visa.
And our last one can be it's somewhere that we've been before.
Okay, great clues.
Yes.
So leave your guesses. We're going to have a super fun time. And I think that Lauren and I should get on our YouTube grind
Yeah.
over there and post a video. What do you think?
I agree. I also have a whole French course to do over the March break. How exciting.
I've been hearing about this for 2 years, so I don't feel sorry for you.
No, basically, originally I was supposed to have it done by the beginning of winter break. And then that didn't happen. My guidance counselor was like, okay, the end of winter break. And then I had to do all those university applications. So that didn't happen either. And then she was like, you know what? Just have it done by the time you graduate. But the only time I'm going to have like days to dedicate to this French course is March break. So I'm going to have to grind.
If you pay me $10,000, I'll do it.
10,000? One of my friends
Yeah.
said she'd do it for like $100. I was like, don't tempt me.
Why would anyone do that for $100? I'm sorry. That would be so much work.
Yeah, I don't know. It's literally 124 hours of work. That's like
Wow, so
not
she
even
charges-
$1 an hour. What is her hourly rate?
Sorry. So I stick to my $10,000. I'll do it for $10,000. But I'm pretty good at French, so
What is your hourly rate?
I'm not good at math. So don't ask. Maybe $100. Don't know.
Okay.
$100?
Maybe.
100 times 100. 10,000? Yeah, that sounds right. Right? 1,000? No, it's 10,000. It's less than $100 an hour.
Okay. Wow, what a steal.
Right? That's what I'm saying. Okay. So anything else? Any other updates in the life of Lauren Orlando?
Like probably, but I can't think of anything right now, so I might have to let you know next week.
Okay, well, we wanted this to be just a little quick podcast back
Excuse
in the
me?
studio.
We
What?
didn't hear about your life.
Oh, right. Okay, well, I don't have much to report either. I've been in the U.S. since October, and I've been working away. I have not really left my house that much, although I did have one event in December at my store, which was fun. It was an event with a brand called Malibu Juice Club. We did a little pop-up. And then this weekend, I guess, we are doing a pop-up with Ian Charms and Heavy Manners. So
I can't believe I'm
You
not
guys-
there.
I know. I texted Lauren yesterday. I'm like, do you want a bathing suit? Because there's really cute bathing suits that you could use for our
Yes.
trip. And they are they have them all there, so I can look for you.
Yeah, I'm so jealous because I was there for the last one. It was a lot of fun. I was definitely the youngest person in the room at the little opening day party. But I feel like this would have been a really fun one to go to too.
Totally. Well, it's more of just like a shopping experience rather than a party, so
I see.
it would have been good for you.
Well, I would have loved the shopping experience.
They have really cute stuff. I think it would fit you well. So I'm just saying, you're missing out. Maybe I'll FaceTime you today from the store and you can let me know what you like.
Perfect. I would love that.
All right. And that honestly is the only update that I have. I'm trying to think. I guess, so next weekend is the Super Bowl weekend.
It is?
And yeah, the Super Bowl's in LA, so there's like a lot of stuff going on here. On Friday, I'm going to a Justin Bieber concert.
Why is your life so fun?
It's like a private concert with like only a couple thousand people. So that'll be fun.
How did you end up there?
I'm going with Revolve.
Oh.
And I'm going to post a cute little TikTok about my outfits because I have a few outfit options. So I need some help deciding. And then on Saturday night, I'm going to Colorado.
You're kidding.
Oh, and I was just in Florida last weekend. I forgot about that.
No, this is the best because no one told me she was going to Florida. And I see it on her Instagram story. I'm like, are you in Florida? And then another thing. So I came back to Toronto with Darian and John. And I was under the impression that they were staying here. And then I'm at school and I check the family group chat. And they're like getting COVID tests. And I was like, why are they getting COVID tests? And then it clicked that they were leaving me. So I've been here alone. Like, I don't really live here. I live at school pretty much. But yeah. I don't know how to... I'm the youngest child, okay? I don't know how to do anything for myself. I'm like, I can't go to the grocery store because it's a 20-minute walk and it's freezing cold. I might still do it, but whatever.
Just get Instacart.
And I can't drive because my driving test is in April, but I don't think I'm going to learn how to drive by April, so I'm going to have to move that. And what else? I also can't drive back to school. So I had to like text a friend and I was like, hey, can you drive me home? Like my parents moved to LA.
Oh my gosh. Well, we'll be back. Well, not me, but they will be back, I think, mid-February. So you have a few more weeks of living alone. Only you would complain about living alone. Most kids would be like, yay, my parents are gone.
I know. I was like, woo, I can throw a party. And then I was like, 1, we have a Ring doorbell. And 2, I don't want to throw a party.
The batteries are dead. So if you're going to throw a party, I would do it soon.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Thanks for letting me know.
I'm just a cool sister, okay?
She's a cool older sister.
Right. All right. Well, on that note, I have to run because I have a pop-up to get to, but this has been super fun. I hope you guys are happy and excited as we are that we're back. We're so excited to be posting episodes.
Yeah. We're excited to be talking to you guys again and even hopefully having you guys on the podcast in the future because we would also love to call you. So that is another aspect that we didn't mention earlier, but something that we're really looking forward to is either having you on through live phone calls or answering voicemails like we have in the past. I think that'll all be really exciting. But we're very excited to have you and the rest of our friends involved in the podcast and just to be starting something a little different.
Yes, we're so excited and we can't wait to show you guys what we have in store. We have to get our friends ready, call them up and say, hey, we have a new podcast and you need to be part of it. So we'll get on that. And we will let you know what day of the week we're going to be posting on. We'll have to have a little conversation about that depending on everyone's schedules, but we'll let you know that soon. And yeah, we will talk to you guys next week, I guess. These episodes will be consistent, just like they were before. So you guys can look out for that. All right.
Talk to you next week. Bye.